tonight on this very important day. Really grateful to see everyone come and turn out. We're going to get underway. Mr. Robert Blackwell Gibbs is going to start reading one of his powerful poems. It's also his birthday, so everybody say happy birthday. We're going to get this started.
Ed Augustus put together a little poetry reading in City Hall, and since poetry is kind of my thing, this was my kind of response. It's called Open Letter to the City I Love. I've heard it said throughout history that there have been poets who died expressing what they believe. I've heard it said that one of the great things about this country is the citizen's right to speak. If I am poet, if this is my legacy, if every spirit of every tormented poet's soul stands here with me, I have no choice but to speak. I am cut from a cloth that is ink-stained and riddled with blood, and every one of us would gladly give up freedom, family, nourishment, and love before we let you take our voice from us. I will not surrender. You will have to beat me, or hang me, or burn me. Kill me, please. Make me worthy of Fred Hampton's legacy. Let Medgar Evers look down on me and smile. Let Etheridge Knight and Mikey Pinheiro sit and get high for a while, because this poet is about to speak. Dear City of Worcester, why are you so angry? Does the truth have you squirming in your seat? Does the rasp in my voice make it hard for your privileged eardrums to hear me? Dear powers that be, the people are hungry. The time of honoring yourselves is coming to an end. Believe me, there is no turning back. Dear Eddie, are we having fun yet? After we leave here, you can run and call the chief again. I wonder what he'll charge me with this time. How much money will you waste trying to silence a man who is only going to speak again? I am poet. I draw breath laced with the angry spirits at my shoulders. I accept my responsibility and my legacy to speak until black people get free. I declare my right to scream until I bleed, or until the Worcester PD kills me. Dear Lord Jesus, the money changers have returned to the temple. Gomorrah is rebuilding her walls. I've heard the strength, I've heard the guidance, and the wisdom to silence the false prophets. If you can give me none of this, I beg, give me fire and brimstone.
One more time for Mr. Gibbs, please. One more time. Turn up, turn up. You ain't scared. If you won't be silenced, if you won't be intimidated, say, we out here. 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 I'm going to read this press release, and I'll take a couple questions, and I'll get to my fellow organizers after me. Communities United Collective is a group of individuals with deep ties to the activist community in Worcester. Since August, our organization has organized and hosted numerous rallies, protest actions, and community events focused on bringing the entire community together to fight against racism and other forms of systemic oppression in the city. We have called for police oversight and accountability in the wake of police shootings around the country, both on our own and to support the Black Lives Matter movement. The events and actions that CUC has either organized or participated in have included protest marches, traffic shutdowns, work and school walkouts, and appearances at city council meetings. On January 21st, members of Communities United Collective and others engaged in a tightly organized demonstration in support of Black Lives Matter on Martin Luther King Day. The action blocked traffic in Kelly Square for precisely 4.5 minutes. The protest was well organized and nonviolent, with protesters at one point clearing the street as planned in order to allow an emergency vehicle to pass. In response to that incident, the city of Worcester has issued summonses to protesters, threatening criminal charges against those who took part, and openly condemned those who participate in nonviolent open protests against city policies, as well as actions taken in support of the national Black Lives Matter movement. While the chief of police and city manager claim that their concern is for public safety, we believe that the facts surrounding that incident point to a deliberate attempt to intimidate and silence protesters. The earliest police statements about the Kelly Square protest noted that police were on the scene to escort protesters safely across the street and claimed that there had been no disruption and no safety issues. The statement from the Worcester Police Department changed drastically after a video showing the protest was released and quickly gained traction on social media channels. At that point, Chief Derry Jim stated that police will be reviewing footage of the event with the intent on finding charges to bring against the protesters. The chief and the city's stated reason for bringing charges against non-violent protesters is public safety. Yet, the video clearly shows that the protest was tightly scripted and organized. The action lasted 4.5 minutes, a number that had gained significance in Black Lives Matter protests across the country. It represents the number of hours Michael Brown's body lay in the street. Further eroding any claims that public safety is the primary factor in seeking charges against protests is the fact that the protest group broke their chain when an emergency vehicle approached, quickly waving it through and reforming in line. Instead, CUC believes that the primary, if not the sole, reason for bringing charges against 4 highly visible community activists is to intimidate the protest leaders and others into remaining silent and stand on the sidewalk. Worcester is not the only city using intimidation tactics to silence legitimate, non-violent protest actions. Around the country, individuals who dare to raise their voices against injustice have been arrested and charged with a variety of complaints, including trespassing, disturbing the peace, and obstructing traffic. We are gathering on the eve of a magistrate's hearing against Kelly Square protesters. We are calling on city officials to reconsider filing criminal charges against those who engage in non-violent protest actions. We will also provide a platform for the many groups within Worcester who stand in support and solidarity with any protesters brought up on charges and facing intimidation. CUC believes that the city is using these threatened charges as a platform to intimidate the protesters and silence the voices of protest in Worcester. The organization further believes that if the city is successful in pursuing charges, it will set a precedent to be used against other groups who dare to express dissent and disagreement with official policy. Communities United Collective is not intimidated and will not be silent. The group has called on other organizations and individuals who value their right to protest to join with them at City Hall, standing in solidarity against the suppression of protests and in support of those who are facing intimidation through the threat of criminal charges. I'll now take a few questions before we get to the fellow speakers, if people have any.
When is the court case for those 4 that are
Currently, there's only one date, one hearing for 2 of the protesters, and that's tomorrow.
Tomorrow? So it's not 4, it's 2?
Currently, all we know about it is 2.
And that's happening in the Worcester District Court.
It's in the magistrate's office, correct?
Is the hope that the city will drop the charges after they see the community support here, and do you expect that to happen?
One second. Tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. I'm sorry, I got you guys.
Sure. Do you expect the city will drop the charges after they see the community support around the portable charge?
There should have never been any charges, so I have no idea what they're going to do. Yes.
Has anybody spoken to Joe early at all about the charges?
We have not.
No?
CUC is committed to fight all isms. We're against racism, sexism, ableism, any other ism. We're against oppression of all people. We love all people. We want liberation for all. And as long as there's oppression, CUC is going to stay committed to doing that work. And that's a number of different responses. Any other questions? Other questions? All right, I'm going to hand over to Mr. Gordon Davis. Here you go.
I want to talk a little bit about the so-called charges. There are no charges. The city has not filed any charges against the protesters. What is going on is that they made an application to the court magistrate to determine whether or not there's enough evidence for charges. There are no charges now. Now, they may be facing charges later, but there are no charges now. They have not been charged with anything. And what you've been reading in the paper is a bunch of crap, because only 2 protesters have been summoned. The other 2 have been pulled into this in order to intimidate them. So legally speaking, there are no charges now, and there may not be any charges ever.
You heard that.
What are they doing? Just looking for probable cause? The other 2?
Yes, looking for probable cause, but there are no charges.
Because the telegram says there's 4.
Yeah, that's a bunch of crap. They're going to be
I know, I'm listening, but I'm saying the telegram says 4.
What's that's the kind of standards for TNT?
I wasn't going to say that either.
Any more questions? Going once, going twice. All right, we out here. Let's go. Next is our man James from Socialist Alternative. He's about to go in.
How's it going, Worcester? Let me hear your support. We love these guys. We have a right to protest. We want to be out here. This is what we do. This is how we need to make a change. I'm with Socialist Alternative, a left political organization. We're really active here in Worcester. We've been with Communities United since day one. We're a national organization. We're working all around the country in Boston, Seattle, San Antonio, Mobile. We're everywhere. Socialist Alternative stands in solidarity with Communities United Collective and with those being persecuted and prosecuted by the city. These charges levied against activists and leaders in our community, despite the fact that they were not the only participants, and despite the fact that they were well within their rights doing what they did, are an obvious attempt to scare members of the Worcester community into keeping their heads down, into accepting unquestioningly the profit-driven, corporate-decided, and elite-dominated practices and policies of this city, state, nation, and the entire capitalist system. Socialist Alternative, like the Communities United Collective, recognizes that we cannot beg the rich white men who dominate every level of our society to give us justice. Socialist Alternative also recognizes that it is the power of the people, of the workers, who can shut down the for-profit machines of the city managers, of the CEOs, and of the super PACs. That's why and how Socialist Alternative led the charge for a $15 an hour minimum wage in Seattle. That's why and how our comrades in Boston at Northeastern just won the first ever student referendum for a $15 an hour minimum wage. That organize this rally here tonight because it's the workers whose voices matter, not the elites. Socialist Alternative stands with Communities United as the tip of the iceberg, as those working to build the movement for a democratically run, equally held, repressionless socialist society. As a step towards that future, we call on the city to immediately and unconditionally drop the persecution against the MLK Day protesters. We call for the workers of the city to unite, be it in Communities United, Socialist Alternative, or any other group. Just get active, come out. Bobby, Sonia, Kevin, Mike, Worcester, anyone facing oppression. We have nothing to lose but our chains. I'll take any questions.
Hey, one more time for James. Let's go. Ready to run for a walk. Hey, next we have Gordon from the Progressive Labor Party. Mr. Gordon Davis. Howdy, everybody. Hey, let's jump up and down a little bit. Let's loosen up. Come on, loosen up. Go, 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 go. Listen, what I want you all to be proud of yourselves. You have made a significant change in this country. Never before in my lifetime or in the history of the United States has a policeman been arrested for doing anything while on active duty. And now we see many policemen are being arrested for violations that they did on active duty. This is a great change. And who did this? We all did this. Every single one of you has done this. And this is a new civil rights movement that's going to change America. Do not be stifled by the city manager, by the police chief, by the courts, by the clerks. Do not be afraid. Move on. Now, again, what's happening now is that each community has a collective. Each community has a group of people that's doing really good work. What we need is a national organization, and I belong to one of those national organizations. I belong to the Progressive Labor Party, and we've been fighting against racist brutality since 1965. We fought against the South Boston Marshals. We fought against the Cluxers when they came to Worcester. We are in support of what's going on here, and we're not afraid. We're not going to sell out. We're not going to be co-opted by some nice position in management somewhere. We're here. We're going to stay. We're going to fight. We're going to make sure that this world changes for the better. We feel that there's a need for what's end to income inequity. We feel there's a need for a society in which there's no income inequity, and therefore there's no racism and gender discrimination. We want a communist society. And with that, I'll just stop talking. Yeah! Don't stop talking. Don't stop talking. So at this point, if anybody feels moved, if anybody has something to say, if anybody wants to share their experience, mic is all yours. And you take it. Take it. Hey. That sounds good back there. So, again, if anybody's intimidated, I don't want to push it. If the mic is a little scary, that's cool. You can come in the circle, do your thing. If you don't have anything to say, that's cool too.